Tesla breaks the unbreakable. Shares are falling after a disastrous reveal.
An international uproar has erupted around Tesla's Cybertruck, once lauded for its futuristic design, but now at the center of fierce global backlash. The controversy deepened after Elon Musk clashed with federal agencies, intensifying scrutiny on both him and his company. Authorities in several countries have started seizing Cybertrucks and voiding their registrations, raising concerns about the vehicle's future viability. What was once hailed as a revolutionary electric vehicle has now sparked discussions of a potential worldwide ban. This isn't just quiet regulatory resistance, it's a full-blown global revolt. Nowhere is the outrage more palpable than in the United Kingdom, where owners are facing more than legal headaches. They're being mocked, ridiculed, and treated like the punchline of a cultural joke. British authorities have taken a firm stand against the Cybertruck, with some law enforcement agencies moving swiftly to remove it from public roads. In one high-profile case in January 2025, Greater Manchester Police seized a Cybertruck after discovering it lacked the legally required certificate of conformity. This incident highlighted a cascade of regulatory violations, most notably the vehicle's sheer size and weight. Weighing nearly 7,000 pounds and measuring over 2.2 meters wide, the Cybertruck is simply too large for many of the UK's narrow lanes and parking spaces. Legally speaking, driving such a vehicle requires a Category C1 license, the same classification needed for small commercial trucks. This additional licensing hurdle places an unexpected burden on owners and further complicates the vehicle's acceptance. Design elements that initially attracted attention are now drawing sharp criticism. The sharp-edged stainless steel body, though visually striking, fails to meet the UK's pedestrian safety standards, which mandate rounded edges with a radius of at least 3.2 millimeters. These regulations exist for good reason. In the event of a low-speed collision, the Cybertruck's hard, angular surfaces pose a greater risk of injury, much like being struck by a high-speed kitchen appliance. Meanwhile, the vehicle's eye-catching full-width light bar also runs afoul of UK standards for brightness, placement, and visibility. Combine that with the truck's astonishing 0 to 60 mph acceleration in just 2.6 seconds, and it becomes clear why regulators are concerned. A vehicle of such weight and power creates a risky combination, especially in densely populated urban environments. The Greater Manchester case drew widespread attention after the driver lost control of the vehicle, prompting further investigation. This incident has reignited debate. Are these safety regulations vital to protect public welfare, or are they examples of government overreach? Regardless of perspective, what's clear is that the Cybertruck's path into the UK has hit significant roadblocks, revealing the complexities that cutting-edge vehicle manufacturers face when entering tightly regulated markets. The resistance to the Cybertruck isn't limited to the UK. Across the Irish Sea, Ireland is grappling with its own set of challenges. A country known for its stunning natural landscapes and centuries-old architecture, Ireland presents a particularly difficult environment for a vehicle as massive and aggressive-looking as the Cybertruck. Winding country roads, narrow village streets, and ancient infrastructure simply were not built to accommodate such bulk. Attempting to navigate Ireland's back roads in a Cybertruck is the equivalent of driving a tank through a footpath, impressive to witness perhaps, but fundamentally impractical. Regulatory challenges in Ireland mirror many of the UK's. The European Union, of which Ireland is a member, imposes strict automotive design and safety standards. The Cybertruck's sharp lines and rigid structure conflict with these requirements, particularly those aimed at protecting pedestrians. Its design, while undeniably futuristic, seems at odds with EU legislation that prioritizes curved surfaces and impact mitigation. Another critical issue in Ireland is the truck's weight. Under EU licensing laws, a standard B license allows a driver to operate vehicles up to 3.5 tons. The Cybertruck, even without added cargo or passengers, hovers dangerously close to this limit. Add any adventure gear, surfboards, camping equipment, even a traditional Irish breakfast, and the vehicle could easily exceed the allowable weight, rendering the license invalid. This not only limits the practicality of the truck for everyday use, but raises questions about its compatibility with existing infrastructure and legal frameworks. Compounding these concerns is Tesla's recent 2024 recall involving accelerator pedals that could become jammed. This safety flaw, if it were to occur on the tight, bustling streets of Dublin, could have disastrous consequences. The idea of a 3-ton Cybertruck hurtling uncontrollably past national monuments is the stuff of nightmares. A problem of this nature transforms what should be a peaceful weekend drive into a high-risk situation, potentially endangering both the driver and the public. The growing list of regulatory hurdles and safety concerns signals a broader issue: the tension between technological ambition and real-world practicality. Tesla's Cybertruck, though visionary in many respects, may be an ill fit for markets governed by strict safety laws, compact infrastructure, and risk-averse regulators. It's a bold machine trying to fit into places still shaped by centuries-old systems and sensibilities. As government crackdowns intensify and public sentiment turns sour, the Cybertruck's fate seems increasingly uncertain. What was once seen as a symbol of the future is now being re-examined under the harsh light of policy, safety, and infrastructure limitations. Whether these developments signal the beginning of a global retreat for Tesla's most radical vehicle or a temporary regulatory scuffle remains to be seen. But the road ahead looks far from smooth. The challenges surrounding the Cybertruck's release in various global markets reveal a complex and often tense relationship between groundbreaking innovation and established systems of safety, infrastructure, and regulation. Its anticipated arrival in Ireland, for example, has underscored the urgent need to resolve several critical concerns before it can be launched to the public. The vehicle's distinctive engineering and design, while futuristic and bold, present a unique conflict with Ireland's deeply rooted historical environment and established infrastructure. The introduction of such an unconventional vehicle requires not only technical adaptation, but also a deeper consideration of regulatory compliance, public safety, and the vehicle's intended purpose in a setting rich with cultural heritage and constrained urban planning. The presence of the Cybertruck in Ireland acts as a revealing case study of the delicate balance required between progress and preservation. The physical limitations of existing roadways, alignment with safety protocols, and harmony with regulatory standards form a dense network of variables that must be delicately navigated. These challenges highlight a broader issue. Technological progress must evolve in tandem with regulatory frameworks and practical limitations. Development cannot exist in a vacuum. It must work hand in hand with the very systems it seeks to disrupt or improve. In Australia, the Cybertruck's path has been even more obstructed. The vehicle's entry into the competitive pickup market was halted by stringent national regulations, primarily focused on human safety and infrastructure compatibility. Far from being a knee-jerk rejection, this decision was the outcome of a comprehensive analysis of the truck's implications. The hard, angular exoskeleton, designed to be impenetrable, presents a serious concern during collisions. Unlike traditional vehicles that absorb impact through carefully designed deformation, the Cybertruck's rigidity can amplify the force of crashes, endangering not only the occupants, but also other vehicles and pedestrians. This is particularly relevant on Australia's vast road networks where collisions with large animals are common. In such cases, the solid construction of the Cybertruck could convert animals into dangerous projectiles, posing additional hazards on the road. This, combined with its incompatibility with Australia's right-hand driving requirements, renders it unsuitable for immediate deployment without massive retooling of Tesla's production facilities, a process likely to cost tens of millions in plant upgrades and lost output. Moreover, Australia's EV charging network, while impressive in urban centers, falls short across the rural expanse. In the outback, vast stretches lack sufficient charging infrastructure, turning an ambitious vehicle like the Cybertruck into a stranded asset rather than a reliable tool for adventure. The concept of range anxiety becomes a serious issue in these remote regions, diminishing the vehicle's core appeal as a rugged, go-anywhere machine. The Australian case illustrates how a vehicle, no matter how innovative, must still align with local realities. The refusal to allow the Cybertruck into the market isn't necessarily a rejection of innovation, but a necessary step to ensure that such innovation doesn't outpace the conditions in which it must function. The regulatory environment didn't stifle creativity, it demanded responsibility. Yet the most formidable challenge may still lie ahead. China, a country that stands at the forefront of futuristic urban development and electric vehicle adoption, may seem like the ideal home for the Cybertruck. But the truck's design, especially its sharp, rigid frame and large dimensions, runs counter to China's strict pedestrian safety codes. While it hasn't been explicitly banned, its approval faces towering regulatory hurdles. Urban zones are especially problematic due to limited access for large pickup trucks and a 15-year service life cap on such vehicles. In China's tightly regulated automotive landscape, even a re-engineered version of the Cybertruck would encounter persistent bureaucratic red tape. The challenges go beyond manufacturing. It's about systemic alignment with policies, standards, and municipal codes that govern every facet of the car's usage. Even successful adaptation might only lead to a constrained ownership experience, one riddled with logistical headaches. An interesting side note adds more intrigue to Tesla's troubles in China. After initiating the approval process with China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, Tesla abruptly withdrew its application for the Cybertruck without explanation. Whether this decision stemmed from a preemptive move to avoid rejection or an internal realization of incompatibility remains unclear. Still, it underlines the unpredictability and sensitivity of market entry in the world's largest EV consumer base. Adding to Tesla's burden in China are earlier controversies, including high-profile incidents involving alleged brake failures and battery-related fires. These events have already eroded consumer trust and strained the company's image. For a product as unconventional as the Cybertruck, overcoming that perception could prove an insurmountable task. All these developments prompt a larger, more philosophical question. Is the Cybertruck a victim of outdated regulations stifling innovation, or is it a fundamentally flawed product that failed to account for the environments in which it would be used? The answer lies in the eye of the beholder. For innovators, it represents a bold leap toward the future. For regulators, it's a safety risk that hasn't adapted to real-world constraints. Ultimately, the Cybertruck's struggles underscore a timeless truth. Radical design alone is not enough. For innovation to truly succeed, it must not only challenge convention, but also function seamlessly within the ecosystems it hopes to transform. The friction between progress and practicality, between vision and viability, continues to define the Cybertruck's controversial journey across the global automotive stage. The ongoing saga of the Cybertruck exemplifies the ever-present friction between groundbreaking design and the rigid framework of existing regulatory structures. It sheds light on the broader tension between the pace of innovation and the critical priority of public safety. Despite being a technological marvel, even the most sophisticated products must eventually align with the practical demands and limitations of the markets they hope to enter. The Cybertruck's troubled journey in China stands as a stark lesson in the importance of designing with regulations in mind from the outset, rather than attempting to retrofit compliance later. This reactive approach often proves costly, not only in financial terms but also in lost time, market credibility, and consumer trust. While Tesla's engineers are fully capable of redesigning the Cybertruck to fit global standards, softening its aggressive lines, tweaking its weight distribution, or refining its sharp edges, doing so comes at a considerable cost. Such a process would drain resources and test investor patience, all while threatening the vehicle's very identity. The Cybertruck was not designed to blend in. It was meant to stand out, to rebel against the monotony of current automotive design. A watered-down version might pass regulatory muster, but it would no longer be the same symbol of bold innovation that initially captured the public's imagination. This clash raises larger questions that go beyond just Tesla. Are regulatory frameworks holding back progress by clinging to outdated metrics, or has Tesla simply overstepped, creating a machine that sacrifices too much in the name of novelty? While regulators have historically played a critical role in reducing accidents and protecting lives, their rigidity can at times stifle creativity. Conversely, allowing manufacturers too much freedom might expose the public to unacceptable risks under the guise of advancement. In many ways, the Cybertruck is at the center of a turning point for the automobile industry. Traditional safety norms, which served the industry well for decades, are being challenged by radical new approaches in both design and technology. Materials, manufacturing techniques, and vehicle architectures are evolving rapidly. These innovations don't always align neatly with legacy regulations, which creates a dilemma. Adapt the rules or curb the innovation. The Cybertruck stands as a defiant challenge to the status quo. Its brutalist design breaks away from conventional aesthetics and embraces a new design language that many see as the future of mobility. But that future is now under threat, not due to a lack of vision, but due to the inability of current regulations to adapt fast enough. If regulatory bodies insist on applying traditional standards to untraditional vehicles, the very innovations that could improve safety and efficiency may never reach the roads. This ongoing debate isn't just about safety standards or design preferences. It touches on how we shape the future. If governments refuse to modernize their frameworks, they risk choking off revolutionary ideas. But if they go too far in the other direction, prioritizing innovation at the expense of caution, the consequences could be dire. The Cybertruck's rough reception is a call for a new type of regulation, one that balances safety with openness to emerging technologies, and that can evolve alongside innovation rather than resist it. What the Cybertruck represents is far more significant than its stainless steel body or angular form. It has sparked a deeply ideological divide. Some countries have responded by tightening restrictions, citing concerns over its size, weight, and pedestrian safety. Others, however, see it as an emblem of human creativity and progress, celebrating it as a glimpse into the next chapter of automotive evolution. For its supporters, the Cybertruck isn't just a truck. It's a provocation, a statement that design should be daring, not dull. Whether or not nations will relax their grip to make space for such vehicles remains uncertain. Advocates for deregulation argue that drivers and technology are now advanced enough to manage the risks. They place their faith in market forces and innovation. Meanwhile, critics stress that safety cannot be compromised, especially during a time when transportation technologies are advancing at breakneck speed. In their view, public protection should always come before design experimentation. Ultimately, the fate of the Cybertruck is still in flux. It continues to provoke debate not only about its own future, but about the broader role of regulation in shaping how societies embrace new technologies. Whether the vehicle ends up being re-engineered or the world makes space for it in its current form, the implications go beyond Tesla. The Cybertruck has become a powerful metaphor for the tension between progress and precaution, between imagination and responsibility. It forces us to confront fundamental questions about how innovation should unfold and who gets to decide the rules. Let us know your thoughts. Should Elon Musk modify the Cybertruck to meet global standards, or is it time for the world to rethink its approach to regulation in the age of disruptive design? Liked what you saw? Tap that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more.